Let's start class. Here we go. We're going to start at the top of our mat. Feet are hip width apart. Hands down by your sides. We're going to start in mountain pose. Very energetic pose. Try not to lock your knees. Roll your shoulder blades down your back and just look straight ahead. Just take in a couple breaths and be grateful for the time that you're taking today. Try to activate your Ujjayi breath. Maybe one more breath here. And then on the next inhale, we're going to lift our arms up and over and touch them together and bring them down to the center. We're going to do this 2 more times. Breathing in, lifting those arms up and over. As we breathe out, we bring them down towards the center. 1 more time. This time we touch at the top and then we let them go back again, and we're going to fold forward. Make sure those knees are bent a little bit, reaching towards the ground. We're going to breathe in, look up, flat back, breathe out, lower. 2 more of those. Breathing in, looking up, flat back, breathe out, lower. Last time. And as you exhale, I would like for you to bend your knees so that you can touch the ground. We're going to step back with 1 foot, high lunge, and then we're going to step back with the other foot, plank pose. If you can't do plank, then you can definitely bring your knees to the ground. Totally okay. Breathing in, looking forward. We're going to breathe out. We're going to let our hips go towards the ceiling. All right? So I just step forward a little bit, downward facing dog. Relax your head, neck, and press your chest towards your feet while your heels are pressing towards the ground. Breathing in through your nose. One more breath here. And then on the next exhale, I'm stepping my feet back and I'm sliding forward into plank. I'm going to bend those elbows and let my hips go towards the floor. Chaturanga. Looking up, breathing in the position. As we breathe out, we're going to tuck those toes and press those hips back up. I know I'm going pretty fast, but this is a sun salutation, and we're just going to go through it. It's be okay. Okay? So we're back in downward facing dog. I want you to lift one leg up. Let that knee bend and let that foot drop behind you. You can look between your arm and leg towards that foot. Maybe 2 breaths here. And then on the next exhale, straighten that leg. We're going to slide forward, bringing that foot between your hands. So sometimes it gets stuck on the mat. Totally okay. Lift it up, put it in between your hands. All right, so I want you to prepare for Warrior 1. We're going to place our hands onto our knees, finding our balance. All right, zip up those abs, press your legs together. Breathing in, I want you to let your arms behind you. Breathing out, they're coming up in front of you. You're looking through your hands. Pressing those thighs together, zipping up those abs. 2 breaths here. All right, on the next exhale, we're going to open up into Warrior 3. Hips are pointed out. Back foot is at a 45-degree angle. You're looking over that front middle finger. 2 breaths here. Making sure that front knee is bent and it's stacked on top of that ankle. And on the next exhale, back hand is released down to that back leg, front hand flips, and it goes overhead, reverse warrior. And on the next exhale, come back into warrior 3, and then we're going to swing that back arm forward, warrior 1. You guys got this. Breathing in into position. We're going to breathe out, bringing our hands down to frame that foot. All right. So the inside hand, the hand that's on the inside of the foot, we're going to place at the edge of the mat at a 45-degree angle. While the outside hand, we're going to lift up, looking towards the ceiling. Breathing in and breathing out, just feeling the stretch here. One more breath, and then we're going to release this hand down, and we're going to step this foot back into downward facing dog. All right, you guys got this. I know this is a difficult one, but soon we'll be sitting down. It'll be okay. Okay, so we got to do that whole thing on the other side. So let's go ahead and lift the other leg. We're going to let that knee bend, dropping that foot behind us. Look towards that foot. Just feeling the stretch. 2 breaths here. And on the next exhale, straighten that leg, slide forward. We're bringing this foot in between our hands. Once again, if it gets stuck here, lift it. Put it forward a little bit. We want to stack the ankle right under the knee. So we're going into warrior 1. I want you to find your balance. Hands on your knees. Your knee, one knee. Breathing in, arms are behind you. Breathing out, we're going to lift our hands up. We're pressing our legs together. Abs are zipped up. Looking in between those hands. 2 breaths here. Making sure that front knee is bent. And on the next exhale, let's go ahead and open up. So hips are opening. Back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Looking over that front middle finger. On the next exhale, we're going to place this back hand to the back leg. Flip that front hand and lift it overhead. Looking up at the ceiling, reverse warrior. And come back to warrior 2, warrior 2. And then we're going to let that back arm swing forward, warrior 1, just for a second. And then we'll go ahead and frame that foot with our hands. Inside hand. Inside of that foot. Goes at a 45-degree angle on the edge of your mat. On the outside hand, we're going to lift it up and look up at that hand and just feel that stretch. Breathing in and breathing out. And on the next exhale, go ahead and let that hand down. We're going to step back and bring our knees down to the ground. Knees are wider than our hips. And then we're going to sit back into child's pose. Whew, that was really good work. Great job. Couple more breaths here. We can even put our hands down by our sides if you'd like. All right, so bringing your hands out in front of you, we're going to come up into tabletop. All right, so wrists are directly under shoulders. Knees are directly under hips. We're going to do a balancing pose. So reach one arm out like you're going to shake someone's hand. And then we're going to step that opposite leg back. Toes are tucked and toes are on the ground right now. So if you are good here, then stay here. If you'd like a little extra challenge, let's lift that back leg. Balance. Now if you want to stay here, totally cool. But if you want a little extra challenge, we can bend that knee, reach around, grab that ankle, and press that hand into your ankle, letting that shoulder lift up and looking up towards the ceiling. 2 breaths. And on the next exhale, release that hand and foot and lower it all the way down. Let's try it on the other side. All right, other hand goes out like you're gonna shake someone's hand. Other foot, big toes on the ground. Stay here if you don't have balance today. It's totally okay. Each side is different as well. If you want to do a little extra challenge, lift that foot up. And if you want to go all the way, let's go ahead and bend that knee, reach around, grab that ankle, breathing in, breathing out. We're pressing that ankle into our hand. It's opening up our shoulder. We're looking up at the ceiling. 2 breaths here. And on the next exhale, go ahead and release that ankle and hand back to center. Woo! That was really good. All right, so now let's lift one arm out to the side and we're gonna thread the needle. So we're placing this hand in between our leg and arm, relaxing our head and neck, or our head and shoulder onto the ground. So we can leave this hand in front of our face, or we can lift it up, turn it around, and place it onto our low back or our thigh, whatever you can reach. And we're just releasing and relaxing here. Let's say 3 breaths. And on the next exhale, lift that arm up if it's behind you and place it right in front of your face again. And we're gonna press into that hand, lifting up our head and our shoulder. Let's do it on the other side. Lifting up that arm, threading the needle, relaxing on your head and shoulder. And then that hand that's in front of your face, we can lift up, turn around, and place on our low back or our thigh, wherever you can reach. One more breath here. And on the next exhale, lift that hand that's behind you, place it back in front of your face, press into that hand, and lift up. Awesome, awesome job. All right, so let's walk forward a little bit and just lay on our bellies. All right, once you're there, we're gonna place our hands under our shoulders. Breathing in, we're gonna breathe out and press into the ground, lifting our chest up a bit. So just a couple of breaths here. We're just stretching our abs, stretching our chest. And on the next exhale, go ahead and lower all the way down. And what we're going to do is, if you'd like to do a challenging pose, then I would say do this, okay? We're going to go ahead and act like we're kicking our bum, reach around with one hand, and do it to the other side too. So kick our bum, reach around with the other hand. Breathing in, we're going to breathe out and press those ankles into our hands and look forward. So as we breathe in, we should be rocking back and forth. Maybe one more breath. And then release, and then relax. Haha. All right, great job. So let's go ahead and lift our upper body up. We're gonna come back into into child's pose, sorry. Just relaxing, releasing. All right, on the next exhale, come back onto all fours, and what I would like for you to do is go ahead and place one foot in between your hands. So my hips are pressed down towards the ground, back knee is on the ground. You can always lift it up if you need to, because I usually lift it whenever my knee is feeling sore. Anyway, so let's place both hands on the inside of that foot. You might have to walk that foot to the outside a little bit. Make sure that knee is directly over that ankle. So if you're feeling a stretch here, just stay here. And we're pressing those hips towards the ground, really opening those hips. If you want to take it to the next level, we can go ahead down to our elbows. Relaxing and releasing. Maybe 2 more breaths here. And on the next exhale, come back onto your hands. And what I want you to do is I want you to walk this foot towards your hands. So on the inside, we're going to walk it towards our hands. So on the opposite side of the mat, and then I'm going to let my knee drop. If this hurts your knee in any way, do not do it. Okay? So this is pigeon pose. And what we're doing here is releasing our hips towards the ground. Now you can stay here if you're feeling that stretch, which I am, or we can go on down to our elbows and just relax your forehead into your hands or onto the ground, whatever you prefer. I want to take 3 breaths here. This is a very challenging position, and if at any time you are feeling pain, you should get out of the position safely, which I'll show you in just a minute. All right, on the next exhale, go ahead and come back onto your hands. I'm going to tuck my toes behind me, lift my legs up, my hips up, and like a plank pose. All right, let's come back onto hands and knees. Whew. All right, we're gonna do that onto the other side. So, stepping your foot forward. You might wanna wiggle it forward a little bit so that your hips are pressed towards the ground. You don't wanna be up like this because you're not getting that stretch. So, knee is directly over ankle. Hands are on the inside of the foot. We can stay here if you're feeling the stretch. If not, we can come on down to our elbows, locust pose. Just relax your head and neck and take 3 good breaths here. Through your nose. Hopefully you're doing your ujjayi breath. All right, on the next exhale, come back up to your hands, and then we're going to walk that foot towards our hands. So towards the other side of the mat. So my foot is all the way at the other side of the mat, and then I drop that knee. All right, if this is causing pain at all, just don't do it. It's totally okay. So hands are in front of us. Knee is down, right? So I try to press this hip towards the ground, which that is a stretch. Whew. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and come onto my elbows. Relax my head in my hands or on the ground, whatever you prefer. 3 breaths here. And on the next exhale, come back up to your hands, tuck that back toe, and we're gonna lift up into a plank. So I'm lifting my hips, and I'm gonna let that front leg go behind me, and then I'll bring both legs down. That's how I get out of it. Safely. Super safe. All right, anyway. So let's come on to sit on one side. So both of my feet are to one side. I'm going to straighten the top leg and keep the bottom leg bent. This hand that's on the outside is going to point towards the wall. So I think you know what I'm getting at. I love this pose. Side plank, supported side plank. Breathing in, breathing out, we're going to lift up onto this bottom leg, lifting our hips, and really pulling our hand away from our foot. Just feeling that stretch in the side body. It feels so good. Maybe 2 more breaths. And on the next exhale, come all the way back down. Let's bring this leg that's out long. We're gonna bend it and place the foot either in front of the shin, in front of the knee, or all the way around. We're gonna hug this knee in and look behind us, or we can hook it, whatever you prefer. So breathing in, we're sitting up as tall as possible. Breathing out, we're looking behind us. So every time you breathe in, you might come out of the rotation a little bit, sit up a little taller, and then breathe out, rotating again. We got 2 more breaths here. And on the next exhale, both hands come all the way to the other side, and a little bit of a counter twist. All right, so we're going to bring both legs to the other side. So we're switching sides. We're on our hip. Top leg is straight, bottom leg is bent. Hand is facing towards the wall. Breathing in, breathing out. Lift those hips. We're on that bottom knee, and we're just pulling our foot away from our hand, just really stretching that side body. Really feeling it. Y'all are looking great. Maybe 2 more breaths here. And then on the next exhale, come all the way back down, and we're gonna do that twist that we just did on the other side. So bring that top leg to the foot is down on the ground, knee is bent. So we can either have it in front of the shin, in front of the knee, or all the way around. Hugging that knee in or hooking it, whatever you prefer. But every time we breathe in, we're sitting up tall. Every time we breathe out, we're looking behind us. 3 breaths here. And on the next exhale, go ahead and unhook that arm and bring both hands to the other side in a little bit of a counter twist. Great job. We're bringing our legs out in front of us. We're going to do a boat pose, and then we'll lay down. All right, so we can have our hands behind us for support or behind our knees, whatever you prefer. We're breathing in, breathe out, bring your legs parallel to the ground. We can stay here if that's where you're at today. Or we can release our legs, hands down by our sides, breathing in and breathing out. Or we can go full expression. So that means straightening your legs, arms up above. This is the hardest one. Maybe 2 more breaths here. And then go ahead and lower those legs. We're gonna lay all the way down. Whew. Goodness gracious. All right, take a breath. Maybe have some water if you need it. All right, so let's go ahead and bend our knees. We're gonna come into a bridge pose. So hands down by our sides. We're gonna look straight up at the ceiling. Do not compromise your neck by looking all the way around. Feet are hip width apart. Breathing in, breathing out, rolling those hips up off the ground. Pressing those hips towards the ceiling as much as possible. So either you can stay here with your arms by your sides, or you can walk your feet in a little bit and grab your ankles. Or you can just clasp your hands under your seat and roll onto the outsides of your upper arms. Whatever you prefer today. I'm going to do the ankles. Really pressing those hips up with every exhale. So maybe 2 more breaths here. And on the next exhale, release your hands and roll your hips all the way down towards the ground. Let's pull those knees in. Great job. And you can rock side to side or back and forth, just massaging the back. All right, so what I would like for you to do is go ahead and bring your knees, both knees to one side. So shoulders are on the ground, both shoulders. Arms are coming out to a T, and we're going to look behind us towards the back hand. So just one hip is off the ground, the other hip's on the ground. Both shoulders are on the ground, or at least reaching for the ground, okay? Just 2 more breaths here, just feeling the awesome, awesome stretch. And on the next exhale, let's lift those legs up, and then we're going to let them fall towards the other side. So arms are still out into a T. We're looking behind us. Three breaths here. All right, and on the next exhale, lift those knees up. We're going to let them go out long, placing one hand on our belly and one hand on our heart. Our feet are falling to the sides, and we're closing our eyes and just focus on our breath. All right, on the next inhale, let's go ahead and lift our arms overhead, wiggling our fingers, wiggling our toes, slowly coming back to life. We're going to bend our knees and roll over onto one side. And then we'll slowly sit up. Crisscross applesauce. I want to say thank you so much for joining me in your yoga practice today. I hope you had fun, and namaste.